Hi Monkyvers, hi. First of all, this is a video that I didn't edit at all, I didn't cut, and I just wanted it to be really fresh. I want to turn this light on because it could be helpful to, this kind of environment and this kind of vibe that I want to bring in. And I want to call this video my story of faith and how I became a healing musician. As I'm recording this, and this time I'm changing the section of my channels to covers, to healing covers, finally. And yes, I love to do healing music. So to me, I want to give a little resume of like how has been my life since I had memories, since I have 4 to 18 that all of these things happen. I mean to 20 because I'm 20. If you didn't know, hi, my name is Ellery and I'm 20 years old. So I'm a healing musician, and today I will explain you why and why I didn't tell you my story of like my life, because I really was hoping the moment that I will heal in the sense that I could tell you these stories of like my life without even crying. And I feel like all this time that I've been wanting to do this video, like me wanting, it always come to the topic of like talking about more deeper stuffs that happened to me. I was sobbing, so I don't see this way of like sobbing as a weakness, but my psychologist and me, we were working this for like months and years. So finally, I came here and tell you straight up about my life and how it has been and all of the things that were going on to me. So first of all, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things were happening to me, and we were getting into the episodes like how like healing music was. Okay, let's start. So to me, it always happened this when I had like 4. I mean, I was born and was raised by my mom and dad until the age of like 5. But in this kind of age that I had, like since I have 1 to 4, I was always coming back to visit my family members for the side of my mom. Kind of visit because I was living with my dad, and I was kind of living a nuclear family with my mom and dad back in the day. So I feel like in that time I really was doing all of that, blah 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 blah. But in the age of like 4, my mom got cheated on by my dad, and since that I get out from my home, and that was the first reason that I kind of was not living with my dad at all. But the main reason why I really was not living with my dad because of that also was because my dad was the type of guy and the type of man that was really compulsive like I am. I mean, I had these traits, but I learned how to handle in my own way. I mean, I'm learning how to handle, and but we're gonna enter later, okay? But just keep in mind that I had that trait from the side of my dad, that he is very compulsive, but he didn't learn how to manage himself, of like in the sense, because it always come the time where he was really compulsive, and there is one time that he took out of my clothes, and this memory is not clear at all. I mean, my body is not safe until it was that it really was the memory that I have suppressed for the longest time. But it was because he was wanting to hurt me in a sense, let's say. And yeah, so yeah, by the way, trigger warning from this point: if you got triggered by abuse or hurt, getting all of that, don't see this video because these have a lot of that. And since from that side, I mean, I feel so unsafe with my dad, and he took all of my clothes in a rough way. He touched me in a way that is not supposed to touch a girl and all of that. And he put me in a bath in the yard, and he man, he just washed me all over because he was telling me, you don't know, you are not obedient, all of that, and blah blah blah. So that's why another the reason why I was not with my dad in this early age. And blah 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 blah, adult things, all of that. And my mom and I got separate, and my dad and I were having a rough relationship in that moment. And on top of that, I go to this beach, blah 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 blah. Since I was like 5, that's why I've been like kind of having to beaches, and I be healing. So all of these things that I've been telling you is that I heal. And I got into this beach, all of that, and then like one of my family members abused me. Like he did it in a way that was not considered respectfully and very respectful, and that memory on me got a lot affect me. And I had like 5 or 4, but its memory was so clear to me that my body gets freaked out by any type of sexual encounter since then. And that's how I get into being like healing because most of this time your body will reject certain type of things. But moving on, I was with my family, my mom, all of that, blah 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 blah. But this individual would constantly visit me until like he got a period of like being with me with like 3 years and or more. I feel it was 3 or 4 years. I really don't count because that was really trauma that really affected me. But he was constantly visiting me like a family member does. But on top of that, he was not constantly doing this type of abuse. He was just, kind of more like, you know, um, touching me in a way that it's not supposed that you touch someone who is a person. He was obviously a man. But in the trajectory of my childhood, I always have traits of like being overreactive, being over anger, being over this, over that, over like avoiding not too close to people at all, being really shy. And slowly, I talked out with a therapist and told me to forget about and forgive the person. But it really didn't happen to me that that person really changed. I mean, he needs therapy, blah blah blah. But really, that was the main reason. Besides that, I was going, with my life, but in the sense of like childhood, I really didn't have like a childhood that was really called like soft, let's say, because one of my teachers that teach me like kind of how to be in the certain types of events that you have or whatever. He was very restricted to me, and he was part of the military, and he bring to there and all of that. And that's why I have a lot of resistance, because I was constantly being 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours being with like walking, how to walk, how to really properly walk like a military and all of that. And that was one of the reasons. And the second was that because my teacher that also was my teacher since I was like a little girl, used to take it like this, like that, this way. Always she was like that, doing that, like kind of beating me, sorry, kind of doing these things and yelling at me. And because I was always getting late to school, and since that the kind of memory that I had, it always teaching me to being guided by the rules. But since I get off, I really was like kind of more slowed down, like back. But it really, that was a memory that I had since I was a child. But in my home, I was in the place that I was living, that I live right now. I had back in the day problems of like money. It always was money or relationships between me and my family members I had with our family. Estás husband, whatever. But I always bring it to my house, and my family members really were, more like, oh my god, we can support you. But they were always yelling at the house, and that's kind of the reason why I feel like I didn't make a video of me like since I was younger, because it could probably be just with my family members who've been yelling at each other. And really, my core memory is that they were yelling at each other by objects that they could be buy or fix it because they need money. So that's what I really like to work by my own things, and I really don't like to get bothered by objects. Just other objects, that's it. However, that was the main thing, and on top of that was going to these things of like kind of family not functional at all, and all of the things were going on, and all of that. And at the same time, this family member would visit me, and at the same time, I was having this thing with my teacher. And I had a cat by the time. That's why I love cats and I love animals. I mean, before I get to be born, my mom always told me that we're a cat that will always be on top of their belly and will always be purring. And whenever I sleep, the cat will do that, and that's why I love cats. That's my main point. Like, that's why I love cats, really. But more of that is because my safe place, let's say, was my cat all the time. That will always have this chaotic environment. And I really didn't have someone to reach out. I mean, I just have animals, and I was the only child before my brother came into. But at really this point, I was really having a chaotic life, let's say. And by the time that I was a teenager, let's say teenager, that you're close to being teenager, I was trying to escape, with friends, with people, and trying to don't confront like the problem from the bottom, like the problem from the bottom. I always was trying to escape and reaching for friends that were not good to me. And my dad was really narcissistic in his time, because I don't know, he wanted me to be the best, or he wanted me just to have the life that he didn't have, or he wanted me to maintain him or something. But it really, that was the lie that he just make me have, because in the sense that I will tell you straight up that my dad was very narcissistic with me, in the sense that he always was glorifying himself. He always was, all of that. Of course, he treated me like a dad, whatever, but whenever I did something good or bad, I don't know what happened, that he couldn't, like, say, I can, can you forgive me for this and all of that. And he was not the type of, because he also passed for that. So that's why I've been telling you that you need to have compassion, because he passed also for that. So that's the main thing that I will tell you to, kind of heal these things, And it took me to being close to my teenagers, close to have like 18, because since 18 I just literally stopped to talk to my dad at all. But since I was a child, a little girl, to being a teenager, I was constantly seeing my dad after this happened. But he had their things, he had their problems and all of that as well. He was very narcissistic to me, been saying, oh my god, you have a, let's say, in from US scale, it would be, you have a 5, you could have or a 6, you could have a 9, you could have a 10, 9, 10, 9, 10. It always, that was the label. And to me, it get me icky in the sense of like art, because I'm a person who is very artsy, and he didn't like that. And all the careers that I had, whatever, he was still supportive, but he always wanted me to be in health. And I'm gonna talk about that later. But that was a kind of point of, like, to me being like these three things, and dealing with all of that, and dealing with all of this. And on top of that, I have my aunties that were very restrict to me with, like, cleaning things, all of that. But they were struggling themselves with the problems with the family and all of that. But they would always got me the ick of one of my family members and aunties that got me, you need to clean, because she was very addictive to clean. She had like a compulsive thing of like cleaning, because of their husband and all of that. So to me, a younger girl that needs to be in charge of all the home and needs to be cleaning all the time is not good, and I got intimidated by it, and I've been healing like a lot. I mean, I need to be disciplined with cleaning. It's not as important, but not in the level that I could be in healthy. You know what I mean? Not in that level. I love music by this time, but sadly, I had a belief, let's say, of one of my cousins that told me that I sing bad. And it's not that I sing bad, it's because she sing bad. That's what she projecting on herself, and that it kind of stopped me for quite a long time to being away from like singing. And I was really into drawing. I'm a person who's very passionate about drawing. I really love drawing. That was my first love ever beside music. I mean, my first love was music, but the thing I could, do because I was like told of like using bad, all of that with my one of my family members, that was my cousin. At a stage that was very young, very like genuine, very innocent to me. I believe her, my cousin, but I know she did it in a way of sarcastic, maybe that I took it literally, but it was that. And since that, I had this thing were going on to me, all of that. And it really, the change happened when I didn't know homosexuality by the time. Like, I was really all over. And every time that I went to reach out to my mom and family member, they were always kind of arguing with things and all of that. But it really took me to my teenage year where everything happened that, a boy broke my heart. I mean, I still like boys, but this time, but not in the sense of like, I like boys. I still feel attraction to boys. But was that the commitment that I have, because my family taught me to. So that was the thing that happened to me, that it'll always allow me to have a bad taste in boys, because I really didn't like boys. So I was forced to like boys, if you could tell, in a sense. And because of that, because of these patterns, I was always repeating with boys, with people, to don't be really, because the drill is like, oh my gosh, TikTok and all that, that. But to make this short, I was always repeating these patterns of red flag people that were avoiding boys and girls that were like doing these things, all of that. And it really, in the video that I post of like me being, having all of this. So when I was teenager, kind of 15, I started to go to therapy. COVID happened, all that happened, because that was my limit point. I got to be in this limit position where, I was, and I go with this boy, and it was really bad a date, because he was a copy of my dad that was, kind of repeating patterns and all of that. And I got in a crisis because I didn't know like boys or like girls, and then I got to the realization of like, I like girls. And by this time I was kind of more Christian, and I need to deconstruct that to start to believe in pantheism, that I don't have anything with Christians, but in the way that I will explain to you, that my dad was not the type of good dad, they will say, in a sense. And I had these two partners of like my dad and the man that abused me, that was a family member. And I don't know, I feel like that was 2 points that was got me of like cheating and cheating. But the main thing that, let's say, iconic event that happened to me was that when I was in the kind of retirement spiritual like thing with like all the Christianity and all that. There was one of my classmates that were with my dad, and really she like was more, really, 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 I don't know, it shocked me that she knows my dad, but not in the sense that my dad was a student of her, not in a more romantic way, that she might be with my dad, and that was the thing that really got me in shock. But I really let that pass because maybe it was not serious, maybe it was like, that they know from other ways, but that was the thing that happened. And besides that, I mean, I was practicing karate and all of that, and at this point I had this crisis for this boy that would, left me because he didn't know what he wanted, and he wanted me to just have a sparkly time with him, and that is basically just have that, and was not good to me. I didn't allow that to happen because I was also testing the waters with him because I didn't know if I like or not women, and I really think that I like women. Like looking back, I'm like, no, you don't like men. You don't like men. That's it. And yeah, I was having this crisis. I also like a classmate and back in the day from another section of my high school, and I really didn't know how to tell her. I was having mixed emotions for everything, and it took me to have a breakdown and all the things that were happening to me, because by this time I didn't took therapy, let's say. I need to get through these things and blah 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 blah, and more that was going on. And this individual that abused me, let's say, was decided to be living with me. So he stayed for like 3 years. He hurt another individual in my family because I didn't speak to my family, and that woke me up to tell my family. And we take cars in this situation. We did legal things about blah 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 blah. We did all the process and all of that. So it's possible to actually achieve that, but not in the sense that you might be hoping. So we gotta keep that for later, okay? And yeah, that was going on with my life. I was doing these things. I had depression. That's why my hair fall out, because I couldn't handle a lot of stress. My nose bleed a lot. I got into these things, and that was the time that I get to do music. I have a diary that I put there, and I write all my things that I had, all my emotions, all the feelings that I had for him, this person that abused me, all of that, and guys that hurt me, women that hurt me, and all of that. And it really was like the point that I started to get more into psychology, of like trying to discover first how to know if someone likes you back, and then how to deconstruct your sexuality. And there was always this statement on like being over sexual and not want to be sexual with no one. And you need to learn how to handle these things because you were younger, and you might don't know what you want, what you don't want, and you will always be like touching yourself, let's say, down there all the time. And you maybe be a person who is have a repellion to having intimacy with someone. So in that sense, I'm gonna tell you that because I passed for that, you need to learn how to balance yourself and how to control your hormones, even with women, even with men. And you need to learn to deconstruct like what it's sex, let's say, having sexual intimacy or just that, because it's okay to you. It's safe. You don't need to push yourself to being with a bunch of men or a bunch of people or a bunch of girls to prove that you healed from it. You don't need to get into, I mean, my case was that I had repellion to being with someone 100%. And the main point with this I'm telling you is that you will not tell a woman that passed for this that she like women because of that, because that's not what it happens to me. I could 100% have, sexual intimacy with someone, especially with a man, but I didn't have that, and I don't want to, because simply, not because I can, but because I simply don't like that. I don't like them as a person. I mean, as a person who want to share something more romantic. However, with women is different because it's, to me, I didn't experience that yet, but to me, I feel really, I deconstruct that, I took that, but with both, I could have, yeah, but I choose to just one, because I like that and I'm very attracted to that. So, in that sense, to recommend you to take it this way. I know some women that pass for this that they still can have intimacy with a man, they're straight, and that's good, but my sexuality is just something exterior from the way that I'm still attracted to some people, and I feel like it took me time to deconstruct that. Like, if that really didn't happen, I could still feel attraction to women, but that was just like you pass for a truck event. That the way that I see it, like you have a car accident and you were shocked, and that doesn't mean that because of that you will like women. No, that's not the way that it works. At least for psychology and all of that some people need to do more research about it as well. Besides that, my mom was a really good mom. I'm not gonna blame her at all because she was a mom. My mom is very sensitive. My mom is my mom, and I love my mom a lot. And I know that I will come to the right time, and it always happen to the people that it can happen. And it really, this time that I had like 14 to 15, I was getting into, in quarantine, discovering myself, and trying figuring out what I like, women or men. And at the time I was talking online with people, from different types of the country, and then I get into some experiences with women, not in the sense of like sexual, but not more in the sense of like self-discovery of like knowing if I like some women, if I like some men, and all of that. And at first I came as bi, with like all of these things that were going on, even with my mom, that she had faith, that I would like women, and eventually will disappear, and all of that, because I have 3 remarkable experiences that really marked me a lot with like being with liking women and all of that. And the first one, it was with my like online. It happened to me like 3 remarkable experiences. I was a singer that I really like her music. That was really like coming at my awakening. Then it happened to be like my situation shit that happened to me with a girl that I didn't know her yet, like 100%. She didn't have a profile picture. She didn't feel secure with herself, and she didn't like feel, honestly. And the same happened with this second girl that really she was not very open and all of that. And it kind of happened with 2 or 3 girls that I was talking as well, but that 3 remarkable experience happened that it was had these traits of like didn't feeling enough and always being this way. But with the singer, really, it didn't like happen something with me and her. I mean, I didn't know her yet, and I probably will not know her, no way. So yeah. But it just happened that this pattern was like that we're not feeling good enough, even if I do everything with my kind of situation shit. I was kind of my friend, and that I tried to be with her, but really she was not committed to be open and honest to me. And when everything that I will always doing, and she will not be, she not will feel sure at all. So it happens to me for that reason, and I will never trust someone who didn't have a profile picture because of that. I gave her my trust, I gave her everything, but she didn't give it in return. So yeah. And in the third, that kind of thing happened to me with this girl as well, but she didn't have a profile picture. But I really came out for this girl, that the second girl that would happen, that she knows about science, she knows about like things, but she didn't have a profile picture. And she liked to sing. She had like 70 or something, but it really was not, things that would happen to me. And yeah, besides that, I had this crazy. I took cars and the things, and this individual kind of go and then come back for like 3 times, and he finally come back here again because of his karma, I think. In this period of time, I discovered pantheism. It gave me trust. It gave me peace. I don't have anything with Christian. I mean, I still love church, like the static, all of that, faith. I respect people. But I love to pray in my own way from pantheism, and I know there are some things that I don't have 100%, yes, with church, but some core values I have with me with Christianity that are similar to pantheism, that is respect and love is equal and all of that. But it's not quite related to Christianity 100%, but it's kind of similar in my respect and my way to like see life in general. So in the sense that I deconstruct that, the sense that I work that a lot, that I get into healing and stuff and all of that. In the earlier stage of like being 16 to 17, near to have 18, and all of that, and being in these kind of relationships and all of these things, and coming out to my mom saying that I'm bi and I'm into only women, and all of that happened to me. I feel like it really changed me in a way that I am right now, and the way that I deconstruct to have trauma, post-traumatic trauma, the way that I deconstruct have sexual intimacy, and intimacy to you, I will tell you that it's not just being someone having sexual encounter. It's the way that I feel that you can open up to someone, because since you pass for all of these things that I'm saying, like a bunch of things that it happened to me, I feel like it will be really helpful to you. And since I was teenager, close to being a young adult, it really helped me only gains. Now I have more peaceful life. I talk with my family, we have therapy. I know how the way that I could handle, and I really work myself since I had like 15, 14 to the age that I have now that it's 20. I got into therapy, and all of these years were going on to me. I was deconstructing all of these things. And on top of that, I have my brother, that we don't share the same kind of plot, but that doesn't stop me to love my brother and to protect him, because he is a little brother. So in that way, I think that you could have a brother that is not the same blood, and even that my brother don't live with us, so that's okay. But in the sense that you love someone because it's your brother, it doesn't matter the blood, all of that. So it took me quite a long time to deconstruct that, got into therapy, all of that, and I was repeating patterns with toxic boys, toxic girls, of like being red flags, being drug addicts, and I had too many events that happened to me with these boys. That one, there was the boy that he was getting in drugs, and I tried to romanticize that, which is not good to you. You should not be into that type of boys that smoke a lot, because he had a big bowl of like cigarettes that he was smoking, and it really was not good to me, because he was a drug addict, he drank a lot, he got into these parties, and to me that was not the type of a safe environment. Maybe not in the sense that I show my self-respect by being with someone that could have values, because my dad was this, with that, but in the sense that I lose my value, and instead of like searching someone narcissistic, that was that I searched someone who was narcissistic and was this, and he always got me to being the second guess, and these boys were lying at me. I've been like, I'm single, but he got a girlfriend, or girls, I like girls, but she was really unsure what she want. She wasn't sure of like her sexuality and all of that, and being really toxic, being really possessive, and blah blah blah. All of the toxic traits that you could ever imagine, she had. And one of the more remarkable things that happened to me was that she used to do, one of the girls that I have a situationship with that she was younger than I was. That's why I think she didn't have a profile picture, because she was getting into video calls with men and we're having not clothing down there, let's say, so you can get me better. And that make me uncomfortable. I mean, everyone should feel that life, should live their life respectfully, but she pushed me to have that too, but she couldn't get that from me. So I feel like from that sense, I've been like kind of icky, because all the time, that I was trying to be with her, she was very possessive over me. But for men, she was like very okay with that, with men being blah blah blah, being all of this and all of that. So in that type of sense, I feel really icky for women that were like kind of this, didn't have a profile picture, their profile being really private, didn't know what they want, blah 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 blah, and it really, the way that I will explain to you shortly, that there was a time that I was healing was when I had 18, and I was trying to be with a girl of my high school, whatever, and I don't know. I feel like I was trying to connect with her in a sense of friendship or something else, but it didn't happen to me. I mean, at the end of the day, I tried to make her a gift, recover our friendship, because I feel like I was mean in high school with her, because she was very away from us, and I tried to make her a gift and all of that. And at the end of the day, she pursued another girl of college, because I used to be in that college, and I get out. I dropped out of college because of this, of that kind of abuse thing, with this man that was a family member. That's why it took me quite a long time to even post the Song of Love, because I have fights, things, were going on, and the way that I can handle will be doing only games. That is a playlist that I use. This is like a compilation of all of the songs that I listened to when I was a teenager, and most of the time, and I'm adulthood. I'm adult, like I'm a young adult, and that was the main point of me to use it and like give it to you, so you could have a way to drain yourself in a healthy way. And then I get into being in these things of like blah 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 blah, and I also at the same time going to therapy. And once this person was away from me, let's say, because now he's away from my home. I mean, he's kind of close to where I live, but I took legally things. I'm safe, all of that. So from that sense, it's possible to make your environment be more healthy in that sense. So, and instead of like getting out, I know there's certain type of limit situations that you might feel or you might be away from, and that's one of the things that I should recommend you as well to set your limits, all of that, if you can, because there is something that you should get out, so in that sense, I was going through this process of taking all of these beliefs that I have, and that's what I learned to retire, because it's like I would love to know about my future. I would love to know about my person. Spiritually speaking, I get really deep on it. I get really deep. Astrology, tarot cards, and all of that, and it teaches me a lot of stuff. I have a vivid memory when I have like 15. I get into the group chat of like Billie Eilish, because I like her back in the day, not now, but back in the day. And what's good, all of that, but the point that get me icky is because I see that a bunch of men were sexualizing a lot the girl that was a streamer and all that, and I kind of feel icky for it, and uncomfortable because of that. But the only thing that I miss is a girl that was in a group chat that she used to play Call of Duty most of the time, and I really miss her. She studied art, and I don't know. I sent her a picture of my manga episode from my manga that I really didn't know, like, if I would make a manga ever. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy to see now all the things, but these things took time to me, and for everyone come their own in the perfect time. So to me, even though I feel like it got me to being a healing musician as well. That idea was kind of growing, but I really was not open with the sexuality as well. And I also have a memory that she recommended me to draw a window, because I draw like a rose, and she recommended me to draw like a window. But that's the only thing that I missed from that group chat. I get out because it was really a bunch of peak content. Most of the time, it was like Billie Eilish things and their dates, crazy life of her, and blah 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 blah. So I really was not on it, and I really am blessed now. Like, I'm seeing now the result of, like, I feel really blessed and I feel really good because someone like hacked my channel or just took my Facebook account. And it's because he took all of the bad things that happened to me in that Facebook account as well, because that's why I changed my number as well, because of this. And I don't know, I feel like that really took a lot of the bad feelings, like metaphorically speaking, away from me. And I feel blessed for it. Like, usually she is a blessing. Like, I will not see it again. Blah, blah, da, 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 and that's it. And from that, I feel like I really think change. I mean, now my crush is, who. I shouldn't be saying who most of the time, but you know. But that was really the thing that happened to me. I had 15, I get into these things. Then I get into therapy, and I not sacrifice, but just give myself the chance to be, away from college, away from studying, and just being deeply focused on my brother. I will wanted to help him with her studies because he didn't have the chance, to have the type of education that I have. I didn't want it to be rough. I mean, I had my moments where I was exploding like everyone, like every teenager. But I learned how to cope, how to handle, how to be a mature woman. And that's the thing that I've been learning from him by teaching him and all of that. So it's quite possible to be mature and healing from that things. And in the sense that I will tell you that you shouldn't feel bad for it. I mean, you give yourself the time to heal and all of that. And what it took me really honestly to be away from my dad was the kind of main point that it happened to me, that I was wanting to live with my dad, was wanting to do blah blah blah. And he was, I was in a week and a half with him, all of that were going good, blah blah blah. And I told him that what happened to me, and he didn't show any empathy to me. He just told me, go straight forward, because he was educated also in that sense. And to me, it just gave me a sense of, like, I don't feel safe at all. Like, at first, and I saw his girlfriend, that was the girl that, was with her things, going on, but that was a girl that my mom, that was a, let's say that was a girl that was the cause that my dad would shoot on them. So it really was shocking to me see her through my eyes. But I learned to go through. I forgive my dad, let's say I forgive. Blah 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 blah. And the same happened. They cheated on them. But the key point was that I really didn't understand how my dad could, no, the things that I love, because he always came with like things of girls, and was that all the things that happened to me with like girls that he was with, and these girls that eventually, I mean, because my dad was cheating on them, leave these things in their house. He will give it to me, like, and instead of like throwing, he will give it to me, and instead of like giving out, he will give it to me. So that's the way that I really feel so uncomfortable and so icky about like receiving, even though these things from my dad. And that's how I honestly I felt about it, and I feel really that that was the main point, that it got me to being away and healing from, to me, because I tried so many times to kind of change, but some people really don't change, and I will not force them to change. Change is for you, only you, not for other person to tell you need to change. If you want to change, you can change, but for you, because if you do it for someone else, it will end up being just you pretending, not you being changing. If you do it for you, it will be changing, but if you do for someone else, it will be pretending. And it's equal to me to being fixing. Like, you fix yourself for you, not for others, because you will be pretending. So in that sense, I get myself the time to, being leaving this kind of situation, because I try my best to, heal from it. I try my best to forgive, but it was a limit point that I had, and even some of my family members yelled at me because I didn't forgive my dad, all of that. So he was kind of not being, quite have a little empathy with me and my things, and for me, I mean, and all these things were going on. So I get out, I go to my home, to the house of my cousin, and yeah, that was the time that I discovered my crush. I really love her a lot, because by the time I was, googling how to get over someone you never date, because that was the situationship that I had with a girl that, I was talking to back in the day, and I really was planning to end these things, because she was very toxic, like coming back, blah 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 blah. Because she was wanting to be with men, she was wanting to be with women, but she was doing it secretly. It was really, she didn't have a profile picture at all. And so yeah, I really have things with like manipulation, because this individual, the family member that want to manipulate me, he used his tactics, and the tactics that he used with like me was like cats and things, buying my stuff, and that's what I get kind of icky with, like people being too nice to me, and I heal, to deconstruct that people are nice to you is not to get something from you. I get groomed by a man that was like more older than I was, but I allow that to happen. Not let that thing, that abuse happen to me, but just near and be open to have that, because this man was older than I was. He was drug addict, all the cigarettes, blah blah blah. But I noticed when, he was with a girl, he wanted to be with me, and the age that I have, like 18, he was waiting that he would, be with me, like legally speaking, but I didn't allow him to be with me, because first of all, he was still being in drugs, he was still being a drug addict, so that is not something that I allow myself to happen, I allow me to be, let's say, because I will not let him be with me because of this, because of that, and I will not allow them to, be, because he didn't quit these habits, and I feel like he will never be. And on top of that, I get out through being out of my crush back in the day that I had, because the crush that I had before the crush that I actually have right now, I feel like it's a singer that she was on, like still smoking, she was still in the street, but the girl that was in this type of situation should tell me to don't like this singer, blah 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 blah, because of this, because of that. Told me to don't drink. Told me because at the age everything here we drink, so that is legal. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, here in US it's not legal. So why you drink?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know the deal." And all of the things that were going on that I get really over. I mean, I really drink once in a while, but she was still being icky of that. But she was having the things and blah blah blah. Also, it was too complicated to explain you. I'll just say it was not good. Toxic, not good. She didn't feel good enough. That's it. Leave it there. And I blocked the man that came to when I have 18 because he didn't quit bad habits. Block. I blocked this friend that he didn't blah, blah, blah. I block. And that's it. And moving on to these things that happened to me with like maybe kind of taking a long time to record. Really, I'm just going to pause my life here. And I got into this place to be with my cousin. I mean, with my auntie. I was in tears because what happened, what I see with my dad, and all of that. That was the hardest time ever because that was the same thing was going on to me. And then, I see my cousin. I was seeing these videos of my crush, and I get into the Discord. All those things were going on, all of that. And I feel like you can call it like an angel, like you want to call it, but I call her like my angel because she showed me in a way that life could be better. That's why she, to me, is so meaningful. That's why I know that she could do whatever that she could maybe want with her life, but she will not hurt me in a sense because I know when someone is trying to groom me, and that happened to me with this man because, and I really don't feel like I don't know, just I like them, that's it, blah blah blah. And it is what it is. I was going to this place. I still have attacks with like doing and all of that. I have this emotional throwing, whatever I want to call it, and this time that I've been healing this stuff, I was going to therapy, blah 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 blah, and all those things were going on. I got into medication, the strongest medication. I had problems with sleeping, problems with meditating, blah blah blah. But it just calmed me, my crush, a lot. That's why I've been telling you, don't touch her. Don't touch her. Don't be rude. Because some people will help you in that sense. Some people will help you in that sense. And on top of that, it's really quite long, like a movie. And I was getting into the meditation. I was getting more disciplined because I do only games that is a workout session that I have for me. But I really was in this time that I need to care about me, need to care about my energies, my chakras, all of that align. And the sense that I will tell you how I shift between like being like I hate you, I don't like you, blah blah blah, just feeling these bad emotions and writing about it and still being a musician, all of that. To kind of healing was the TikTok that I saw from my crush, to see how she handled bad emotions. That sparks in me idea was that what if this process that she had we do, because that helped me a lot. I mean, I follow her process of like tips that she does to cope some bad feelings, and I did that by my music. I have my nose still being like because I'm sick, and it really helped me in a sense to have more discipline, more let's go for it, let's do this, blah blah blah, what we are waiting for, blah blah blah, and all of this. And yeah, it was a time that I was healing from it. I learned how to cope, been feeling overreactive. I healed my femininity, I healed my toxic traits, I healed all of that with myself. And she adds something, and I spark me. So yeah, because of that happened to me, I didn't don't follow most of the people that were out there, women or men, that were kind of promoting this kind of toxic traits about women and men and women and men and women and men, and like being these type of things. Especially people that were straight trying me to tell me stuff just like because they don't have the experiences that I have. Because I like women, women, women. So I learned to deconstruct all these things, and yeah, that's how I get into healing music. Because I also noticed when I have like 15 to 16, because that was my way to also escape, but in a healthy way, work and have some money and blah 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 blah. I work with kids, and I was with a video call with like a kid that I saw, like one of my brother classmates, I do believe, and this kid was, being really. This girl was really sexual because of the sound, and had this traits because of the music. And music should be, I feel like, label, but just to the way that you know how to ground, the way that you know how to cope, and it will not be too rough to expose these kids to this music. So I highly recommend to don't do that. And it really was kind of the sign to me to let's be a healing musician, let's do healing music, let's help people. That's how I help people, because hearing, of course, the pressure music helped me to take all of the sadness that I have, but it helped me also to being in the limit point where I want to end with my life. So I didn't have like a light to me with like life could be better. And I feel like my crush helped me to build that puzzle and to give it a meaning, a better meaning to, what will be my life. How could be better, how could you get from it? I don't know, you feel, but you need to get from it. And to kind of recover my sporty side, because I love to do squats, I love to do things and all of that. I love adrenaline as well. But it just got me to being there. Of course, I shift from careers, from marketing and all of that, but that's my main reason why I get into making healing music, because of that. And it really helped me to heal, let's say. And that was the thing that happened to me. And it really just allowed me to give my mind a sense of like space. And there is a time that that you block people, that you let them go and you never come back. And that happened to me, that I block and they unblock them, because I don't know, I feel like I was needing to let that thing happen, to be free and let the things be. Because I don't know, I feel like there is a point that I get to me just being blocking a bunch of people that I really don't like and don't agree, that it should be in the sense that I need to stop blocking people. I unblock a lot of people that I've blocked before, and I just protect my own inner peace, physical, mental, spiritual, by doing rituals, cleansings, and also physical and virtually. I just said, I don't like this, that's it. Boom. And I still have some people blocked, but not because of that, because they were very, very respectful with me. So I let these things be. It always come to you where you can feel like you don't know what to do with your life. You maybe want to end with your life, but you shouldn't do. I mean, to me, I will have so many reasons, because I literally explain you my whole life. Just one video. I really didn't want to cry, because I feel like there is nothing that I could cry more about it. I mean, I was left by so many people because I didn't give myself the own value. So whenever time that you want to reach for some own value, that you see the value, because you don't see yourself the value. Like, you don't give yourself the love that you want, and that's what happens to me. You want to prove that someone you like them too, you really love them, is because you don't love yourself a lot. And that's kind of the mirror exercise I also read about psychology, not to manipulate people, but just to help them to understand their emotions better, to put on my lyrics and to help them to get through these emotions. And I hope them sounds, I hope don't sound, sorry my cats, I hope don't sound disrespectful with some people, but I feel like as a musician, we have a lot in our hands of like being, wanting to be better, wanting to be perfect, but in a sense, financially speaking, and instead of like being taking drugs, instead of like being, smoking, instead of like being addicted to drugs, addicted to drinking, addicted to girls, addicted to casual relationships, addicted to hookups, addicted to a bunch of things. We should take cars and this type of things, and we should take discipline with that. And instead of like being smoking for like an album or just being in this type of crisis that it got me to being 6 years being like in these things, also addicted to sex, because some people were addicted to these things, and now some singers were addicted to that, to drugs, to being hurt, to being masochistic people. I mean, I like pain, but I learned to like pain only on sports and workout routines. That's the type of pain that I do enjoy, not all this pain, please. So, in that type of sense, that you should feel, you should take the course on it. And I, being working myself a lot, sorry, I've been working myself a lot in that sense of like being, I've been working myself, in the sense of like taking cars and the things, being disciplined with what I want, being disciplined, my really instinct and my really lie to me every time that I woke up is to light other people's lives with my music, with the things that I do, not just music, but just this thing that comedy ASMR that connect me to music more, and who I am. I feel like it will be like therapy to other people. Like loud therapy is when you're loud on purpose with comedy, and another type of therapy that I've been implementing, not just to music but all of my content. That's why I've been studying also pharmacy. Pharmacy take care of the body, but I take care also of your soul, your emotions by the content that I make and by I promote. And that's what it is. I hope that you could see in a good look, in a good perspective, in a good sense, and you will not have this type of traits and this type of addiction, because I have some addiction that were not quite like drugs or all the things, but were people and were things and all of that. And just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean that you would be a diagnosis. That I my cats are fighting. Not because you were diagnosed with like attachment issues, because I have attachment issues on here, you will be attached, to, you know, um, persons, people, because I was really attached to people, to be actually attached, to people. Even animals, like I get over that time to time. But of course, I cry for animals. But in the sense that I need to learn that it's part of their life, being die, pass away, blah blah blah. So, I want to make this very short. So, from that sense, sorry, I'm giving my this cat milk, but from that sense, I feel like you shouldn't be taken from that. And I'm a person who is diagnosed being very compulsive, so I learned how to redirect these things with like my traits with like pharmacy, because I'm very compulsive when it comes to study, when it comes to being focused on a topic, when it comes to getting deeper. when it comes to, being learning about it, being doing things and all that. So I learned how to redirect that feelings to even music, how it could be a video, blah 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 blah, and all of that. So you can see also my progress as well. And I quit most of my addictions. I mean, I quit all of them, and it's possible. I mean, to you, and being quitting means that you will not do that, and you will do it like in a way that is very drastic. And it's okay to you to, quit these things, be out from it, be, um, getting out from it, or you even have the sense of clarity because you are not attached to people, you are not attached to things, you are not attached. And having safe attachment means that you trust someone, and the only worry that you have is that they will die. That's the only fear that you will have. Even to die, like you don't have any type of fear. You feel trust with that person, and that is my main focus. All these things, and I know that I can tell how to build a business because I'm still young in these things, but these things took discipline, and I promise I work my best. I've been doing this work for like 6 years or 5 years. I feel like 6 years because I'm 20, and you can actually be better. Like you can be better. You can heal from these things. I mean, when I have 15, close to have 16, I started to work in the songs and doing it in my room, and I never post that songs. I mean, some of them got deleted, or some projects that I have. If I find them, I will show you. But I have songs that I wrote a while ago that I didn't show here. But in the sense that you will allow that to happen to you, that you learn how to cope these things because of that. And in that time, I feel like it showed me to just be patient with myself, and it showed me that I could give something that is not just emotion, but a way that I would show people how to handle emotion in a more mature perspective. Not just in the sense of like being a kid or being a teenager that feels stuff and don't know how to handle themselves, and guiding people feel these emotions, but getting through it and seeing a light by also bringing good habits, bringing good things, and just quitting these things. And the last habit that I will quit, I mean, I've been working, and the thing that is stopping me, honestly, just having baby cats, to waking up early, really early. And waking up early has been a problem with me because I always said I didn't feel safe, but now I feel and I live in a good environment that it's less chaotic than it was before. It's very calm, it's very chill. Like sometimes, oh my gosh, too much calmness. I love it. And that's what I also love, calm people. That's what I love my person. She's really calm. Even a storm could happen and she would be still. That's what I love her a lot. And but in a sense that you shouldn't be feeling bad because people that abuse you, that happened to me with someone that abused me, will always use this thing of like the strongness to like appear or spark in me fear, their strongness in me. That was not good. I'm gonna tell you, it was not good. So whenever someone tells you, whenever someone are telling you that you should shut up, you should not be silent. You shouldn't shut up. You shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, no. You have a mouth. You can speak. I don't know when, but you will eventually do that. And I promise that the person that hurt you or that did that to you will help you. Now I'm studying music more in a serious level. I want to produce mix by my own. I'm really independent musician, 100%. The only reason why I don't let someone to take the charge of me in the sense of like music and all that, because I could pass for reviews, I could pass for things, and I don't want that to happen to me, because most of the producers that I know that are good some, but I want to do these things by my own, and I have really things handled by my own. I love that, but in a sense emotional, I let someone to take the lead. Honestly, I let someone to take the lead. I learned to leave the jacket. Period. And that's one of the things that I will tell you straight up, that, and to kind of end this 1 hour thing. Um, I know it will sound to you familiar. Oh my gosh, you have a book that is similar to this. Big surprise to you, that book, it's my life, but changing places, changing people, you might get more deeper on it. So read that book. The author was me, and all the experiences that for privacy back in the day, that I didn't have a safe space to write about it or to do it. um I really feel that it allowed me to just go baby step by baby step to tell you the honest truth, who was the girl that thing happened. It was not because I have a proactive and a good and sparkly imagination. It was because realistically it was my life. And it took me baby step by baby step, doing music, doing demos, doing things, blah 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 blah. But it helped me to be here. It helped me to stand here. It helped me to, be standing right now and just tell you that these things are possible to heal. That's why I started this thing about wellness emotional, that I've been teaching you things, because there is so many times that you want to pursue being wealthy emotionally, you can actually can't pursue being wealthy emotionally and being wealthy financially. Wealthy emotionally means that you will be more mature, and being mature doesn't mean that you will avoid all of your 18 years, all the things that you like, Pokemon and stuff. So to me, it will be like dinosaurs or Mario stuff about like video games. But I really quit video games because I kind of get addicted to it. So I quit that, of course. And it's just a sense of like, you know, being okay. And even some people call me boring. I pass for a lot, please. I pass for a lot. People manipulate me in all the possible ways. All the ways. And if I give someone my trust, it's my trust. That's it. That's what happens to me. And now I'm a singer. I work in a manga. I study pharmacy. I would love to help more people, but not in the sense of like helping people to making my music known. With pharmacy as well, I feel like I could help even more by having some type of knowing about some type of medications, and help some singers that might feel scared to take care of their health, mental, physical, spiritual health. Because as I'm also tarot reader, so I can help them as well with that. And help them more in a deeper level of like understanding these 6 areas of their lives, and learning how to handle themselves, let out fears. And every time that I will, if you Monkyvers allow me to do that, wake up and have a collaboration with a singer or a musician or rapper, because I love rap. One of my first ones that I ever made, that it appeared me and liked me to make actually music here, was a rap song that is called Change the World, but originally wasn't rap. And I feel like from that sense, every collaboration will be a therapy for that singer. So be sure that If a collaboration took me 6 or 9 months, it will be because of that. I'm also pushing them to take care of their mental and physical health and addictions, helping them to let the fear to create an addiction. So yeah, and yeah, my habits change a lot. I work out Monday to Friday. If I can work out for like, I do for like 15 is the bare minimum, and 1 hour is the maximum that I work out Monday to Friday every day. Like sometimes it's 50 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes, but I do into these times, and I never stop because I have a lot of resistance. I make that. I think that I very proud, and instead of like telling myself, "Oh my gosh, I passed for a lot of pain, physical, I passed for," because every time that I will be crying in high school and college, whatever, because I also cry in high school, school, and college, and they will tell me to suppress that emotion and just drink my tears, let's say. And sometimes they will beat me, sometimes they will just scream at me, sometimes they will laugh at me, but I learned how to cope these feelings by my own. I learned that expressing your emotions is okay because you can always have that, and even in like public environments, it's okay. I even cry on YouTube, so it's okay to me to express my emotions, and you should express your emotions. And I got into a period of time where I was overreactive and like over crying, so in a sense that see this as a way of hope, see this as a way of like you can have a good life, you could have a better life, you could not end your life today, you cannot like be, whatever, you could have discipline, you could be better, you could be a new person, you could have a new life. I know one day I will have a partner, I know one day I will have a house, I know one day I will have a whatever, but these things comes gradually. That is not things come, oh my gosh, it could happen for some people that they have this house and all that, this house, this success, but in a way that I let these things be. I not worry for partnership, blah blah blah, because I know it will come eventually. That is not something that I'm chasing, and I work really hard, and I'm learning how to cope in a healthy way. And I woke up, and I been learning how to heal, been learning how to be grounded, been learning how to and all the things that your mind could have are just gonna go away one day. Trust me, it's gonna go away, going to pass away, and gradually you will see these things that happen to you not with like a sense of rejection, not the sense that what happened to me, not in that sense, more peacefully. And you will see like all the thing that happened was because um you were good, like not a good like fighter, but not a good, like a person who was capable of pass for these things. Like this thing happened to you because you were capable of, and the universe make you to pass for these things, so you will teach other people to how to cope these things. And some people don't know how to cope for these things, and some people know, but know that this war that you would call a war, or this thing that happened to you, will not be something that you should see as this gonna eat me, eat, this gonna be something really bad. It will be just something that you will learn how to cope one day, you will see with peace, and you will probably laugh about it, not to avoid, but just to see with like, oh my gosh, but I survived, like that. And there is some limits that some people have, there is some levels, but we should all be respectful to each level. I was left in so many times, and that I can't even count right now. I really can't even count. I could be remembering one, but let's do it like a comedy tea, quite time to time, but not here. And Yeah, that fears of being lost, the feeling of being like you do what you do. My tips to you will be working out, doing only gains, taking accountability what you eat nutritious food, read something that will be better to you, not read pee. Come on, not read that. Read self growth, read how to be rich, read about spiritual stuff. Even if you don't believe in that, read about your religion, learn, be hungry for knowing, but good knowing, not the type of books that you everyone reads, not what you love, not P. All that type of things, and don't be always chasing fake love that it's P, that not be chasing fake dopamine that is drugs. Even I was not around and I was not a drug addict or I was not addicted to it, but I was more likely to be because of people that were around to me, and not do that. Don't be addicted to pain. If you're addicted to pain like I am, for one season of my life, work out. Your body will not blame you. Your body will not blame you. That don't harm yourself. It's not gonna work. Like your skin, eventually, we're going to be fixed, but don't harm yourself. Don't do that because at the end of the day, you were pleasing another person that hurt you, not you. You're pleasing another person. And that's it. That happened to me with my life. I hope you won't be crying right now. If you are, calm down. Like, I passed for that. I'm still alive. I will not die. Like, I will not end with my life right now. And if you will ever feel worried for someone that will end with with their lives because you leave them, no, it's not good. They have self love. They should have self love too. You will not feel worried about it. So yeah, and also, um, that was really what it happened to me with my life, with my things. I hope people like you and wake up, be women of value, and follow my things, all of that for more journey of days. I know I can teach you some stuff, and that was pretty much that I can tell you is possible to heal, but it will be too long to explain all these topics. That's what I created a playlist of emotional wellness. So in that way I could explain to you being better in that sense, like me. I mean, I know that I'm not perfect. Like, I have my times where I really don't want to get out of bed, but I really get up from bed. That tell me it will be a better day. You survive to more things, so you can be better. Oh, and by the way, one of the things I will tell you is that I was not meant to be born, because my mom have a risk with me be born, like have a risk of like I would go, it would be me or her, and at the end of the day, I was born. My mom was safe. I'm here, so I came to let you a little bit more. So from that sense, have a good day, Monkyver. Sleep well. Be safe. Take care of your mental, physical health, and follow these emotional wellness things because it took quite a long time. Quite really long time. I mean, I still have my resting time where I need to speak to someone so they will learn more about my condition and things and traits. But it's okay to set your limits. You should. You should. And that was it, Monkyvers. That was it. Have a good day. Be light. Be okay. Be safe. And love you. I really hope that you could see this story of my life better. That's what I've been kind of sick to tell you the truth about me, I feel like. And that was pretty much it about my life, about my things that happened to me, that what's going on. I promise, pinky promise, thinking to wake up tomorrow really early to still give you some content, to still help you, and yeah, to still be more in peace with things. Oh, by the way, and it's possible to quit your tics that you have. But it took quite a long time exercises because I have tics on my lips. I had a tick on my lip that it kind of happened to me when I'm very over anxious. Sometimes that happen with my ears, eyebrows, but it's possible with medication and all this process that you quit medication and you slowly, gradually take off medication. But stick to your medication if you have medication, because some medication that were meant to when you are depressed, when you quit one day to another, you could be more likely to die. So that's not what we want. That's not what we want. So really be be safe. Like, don't do that. And if you want to sleep good, avoid caffeine, avoid things that will make you feel more up, and just I don't know, just to like not like drink a tea that will make you feel more sleepy. Take care of the lights and the sounds, and search a good position that you can sleep. Have something to cuddle. That's it. Have a partner, cuddle the partner, and you don't have a cuddle your doggy, your cat, your animal that you have probably, or your plushie. That's it. It's not too complicated. It's not too, but I hope it will help you with deconstruct all these things. But that was a story time that I had to tell you about my life, things that happened. I love you. I really love you. Take care. I really hope that you can understand me from this, and yeah, that's it. Bye.